Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network. Hi, this is Amit Doshi, and I wanted to thank each and every one of our listeners. It's been 2 years since I founded IVM, and it's been an amazing 2 years. We wanted to learn a little bit more about who is listening to our shows, and so we put together a short survey. The survey is anonymous, and we aren't going to be collecting any personal information. I would really appreciate it if you could take a couple of minutes out of your day and go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill it out. Thanks, and please keep listening.
Hey guys, this is a very special episode of Geek Fruit this week. We have Abhijeet Kini, who you probably know best from Fanboys and authoring Angry Maushi. So stay tuned, you nerds.
Welcome to another episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. Today is a very special one. We have in the studio with us Abhijeet Kini. And now, even before I say, all the, give you your street creds and stuff like that, I just want to say Abhijeet Kini has been making good comics and great content even before Geek Fruit existed. And for us to kind of applaud that. So thank you so much for being here in the studio.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's a pleasure being here. For all the good words as well.
Yeah. No,
I mean, you have some great words for yourself. Abhijeet Kini is a creative professional specializing in illustration, graphic designs, animation, copywriting, and merchandising, and is located at Mumbai, India.
There you go.
But I guess a little bit of narcissism doesn't hurt.
No, it goes a long way.
It goes a very long way. Just like how we were talking about PR and how crucial that is, this is a good thing.
In the name of search words and search engine optimization and all this faff, there are people who write even a lot more than what maybe I have, like they might even just go all out saying Oscar-winning Grammy winning.
Like the guys from Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
who just were fresh off the heels of the Oscars, literally, like, not even an hour since the
at
Oscars
the time of this recording, yes.
Yeah. It's Monday morning.
They won an Oscar. It's official.
Suicide Squad. I love the idea that somewhere in the world there are hundreds of professional Oscar voters who are lauded as critics of film that saw Suicide Squad, walked out and said, I just saw the best costume design, but the best something that I've ever seen this year.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what? You can judge me on this. I was probably one of the one of those people who kind of enjoyed.
Kind of? Like how much kind of?
Look, you know what? BVS had set it quite low. So Suicide Squad may have been a good follow-up to it.
For me, I'm of the opposite. I think BVS is a masterpiece compared to Suicide Squad.
Well, it's a Monday morning.
It's okay. It's cool. But Suicide Squad won an Oscar. I mean, do you follow that kind of scene? I mean,
do you care about the Oscars?
I used to.
Yeah.
But
when did you start?
But now it just has become a little elitist to kind of know those art house names and all these movies which I probably don't watch. I may even enjoy an Adam Sandler movie today more than
absolutely true. What I like
Grown Ups was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
I've said,
Little Nicky.
Yeah, Little Nicky. That's the classic stuff. Yeah,
I totally forgot.
Happy Gilmore, all the good days.
I've said several times that I'm not the biggest fan of Kimmel, but I did see his opening monologue for the Oscars, and what I appreciated was that he really called out the fact that nobody in the room has seen these movies. And he made several jokes about so that plot twist in Moonlight, right, where this thing happens, and everybody's like, haha, he's like, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. And it was great. It was just like, you guys are famous people, make so much money, and you guys are beautiful, and your lives are made, and everything's awesome. But know that you are the only ones that see this stuff anymore. We don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people crap on Jimmy Kimmel, but I think he's alright.
He's grown on me over the years.
Yeah, I mean, just wait for the fact that in a few months' time, the Bollywood Awards might just run the same joke, which he did.
Exactly.
Aap mein se kisi ne bhi ye film dekhi.
That's a killer joke. That's a podcast in itself.
Dude, I can't even get into that. I don't know if you saw that the Global Citizen Festival.
I saw it on VH1.
Yeah.
I wasn't there because I value my money.
So I
saw your tweets.
I was live tweeting that. So I was just like, dude, literally in the drop of a hat, it became the Starscreen Awards. But it's it was Selena Gomez was on stage and
Yeah.
she was singing, and it was like this international whatever standard festival.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like, Ranveer Singh is on stage doing this weird kind of dance routine.
I didn't get that. I mean,
I don't
why?
know. I mean, that's what, see, international performers, they sing. In India, we dance. That's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I've always
that's
seen
cool.
that it's
That's
only in
fine.
India, maybe an actor is judged by how well he dances.
Yeah.
क्या actor है, क्या अच्छा नाचता है.
I mean,
Something.
this was true in Hollywood in 1940.
Yeah.
We just haven't moved beyond that.
Yeah.
Well, La La Land kind of
I guess
almost won the Oscar for Best Picture. So. Yeah.
That was great.
No, I mean, I was sad that Jay-Z did not get any media
Oh,
media
yeah.
rep at all.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
No one
He was
cared
great, though.
much.
He was great. I loved it.
For what I saw, and I was surprised that none of the newspapers or TV channels ran any specific Jay-Z interview. I mean, Jay-Z, man.
Yeah, this guy's a legend, like, for sure.
It's not even like people know the other members' names in Coldplay anyway. True. It's Chris Martin.
True. Chris Martin.
I'm sure half the crowd was like a new convert to a Coldplay
Arre, dude,
fan list.
I have to tell, this is a great story. We were in Delhi, and one of my friends does the programming for Summer House Cafe. And over there, when Chris Martin came down, that whole big, BuzzFeedy thing, and there were these like a huge number of people standing outside Summer House waiting to kind of go in. So like, nahi sir, Chris Martin dekhna hai, Chris Martin Coldplay dekhna hai. It's like, Coldplay nahi hai. It's Chris Martin. He's just come like as a guest. Like he's not doing. Then she's
like name 3 songs.
Yeah,
right?
So he's like, name 3 Coldplay songs. Okay, so he's like, name 3 Coldplay songs. I'll let you in. And she's like,
Yellow, red,
she's
black.
Like, she's like, well, that was no, but okay. So she was like, a Paradise. Okay, fine. He's like one. He's
Desert
like,
Island.
Fix You, and he's like, okay. And he's like, Fix You Acoustic.
Well, that qualifies.
And he's just like, get out, just get out of here. So yeah. So there you go. That's well, in a nutshell, I feel like we've covered the entire surface of this planet and just bitched on everyone.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. You can get us at contact.
But okay, cool. Let's just get back. Let's get back to you, Abhijeet.
Yeah.
You're in here because we're trying our best to kind of like. I don't want to use the word showcase, okay? But we just like to get into a much like longer conversation with you guys. Whenever we meet at Comic Con, we kind of get like 10 minutes here and there because you guys yourselves are pretty busy and things like that. So it's good to get you guys in here. We've had Shamik on the show. We've had Aniruddha. Obviously, you were definitely top on the list to kind of get in. So thank you so much for being here. But let's talk a little bit about where you are right now. I hate turning the podcast into a and I'm sure you don't like the question also, where it's just like,
gotta do it.
So tell me, Abhijeet, tell me, how did you begin in this industry?
I wish they could see the expression as well.
Yeah.
No, that question is still fine. There are questions like, are you an artist? I'm like, yeah. What do you do for a living?
Well, to that end, though, I mean, we definitely are going to have some listeners who aren't at all familiar with maybe any Indian comics.
Correct.
As much as we try to flog our guts or flog your guts, I suppose, about the stuff that you're saying.
No, but that's where you guys in this initiative comes really handy for people like us, that we can actually reach out to more people.
I mean, it gives us something. It gives us something to kind of put our thoughts on, like just platform wise, and then also like for us, so like we're also trying to get more people like you to kind of share your stuff with us, so that if we have like a critical mass or like a base of users, that's how we can get the word out. And by putting ourselves in a niche, it kind of does us a favor, because then I know that only the hardcore nerds kind of find us and the people who need to find you. So tell us like a little bit about what I know your work is like is prolific. I mean, you've done a lot of stuff over the last few years. I mean, I've said this before. You kind of defined even the look of Comic-Con back in the day. That was really cool. I mean, like I really love the art. The art is very distinct. It's really nice. We've picked up a lot of your comics, reviewed them on the website as well. So tell us about what you're doing currently. Let's start backwards. Yeah.
Currently, I'm actually thinking of the follow-up issues to Fanboys.
Oh, sweet. Okay, awesome.
Because I want to make this a longer series.
All right.
My earlier series was Angry Maushi.
I was just thinking, man, now it's like after the BMC elections, like a prime time to do Angry Maushi. Like
seriously, there's so much you could do.
Yeah.
But with Maushi, I kept it a trilogy. Because it sounds a lot cooler when you call it a trilogy.
Sure.
It's just 3
I
comics.
see what you did there.
Yeah. But I think more than that, I don't want to kind of make comics just because it's a popular series. So I'd rather give that a break for now.
Yeah.
And look at Fanboys, which has just launched a few months ago.
So for the benefit of people who haven't read it yet, why don't you just explain just very quickly, without getting into it
so
too much.
Fanboys, it's just a very short comic, so no spoilers, but it's about 3 comic nerds.
Yeah.
One is a comic collector, one is an action figure collector, and one is a cosplayer.
Nice.
They want to get to a Comic Con but are tricked into not going to one and are dragged straight down to hell.
Quite literally.
Yeah, and that's how the story kind of
hilarity
takes off.
ensues in hell, as it does.
As it does.
It's kind of
It's
like
a funny place, hell.
Yeah. Why not get some free tickets as well?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a homage to the buddy comedies,
Like
and Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
Sure.
Actually, that's the first thing, obviously, that I thought of. I was also very Tenacious D. Like I felt the whole the hell thing.
Yes.
It's great. I love that also. So yeah, why did you kind of decide to be a little more meta in this case? Angry Maushi is a very conscious choice, I feel, for because the Maushi is like a symbol of the whole Mumbai life and things like that. So how did you decide I want to go a little more meta and service the people, the very fanboys that kind of make my industry?
I feel that with Angry Maushi, a lot of people thought that I'm kind of being preachy about some propaganda somewhere, because there were little political undertones and some sort of opinions, but I always steer clear. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a political activist with comics at all. I'm not a Rage Against the Machine when it comes to comics. Sure. But I thought, why not lighten it out a little bit, because most of our readers are the people who attend Comic Cons.
Yeah,
right.
And invariably, there are some adventure stories you get to hear when people are like, I almost didn't make it to this Comic Con.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This happened. I had a college submission, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, if we take this scenario, you relate a lot more to the fans who are coming to the Comic Cons. And you're kind of adding a lot more exaggeration to it, which again is like a complete departure from, say, an Angry Maushi, which was not slapstick funny.
Yeah,
it was exaggerated.
It was over the top funny.
It was over the top,
very different funny.
But it doesn't try to be like, oh look, I'm doing this, so I'm doing this. It's kind of like a situational sitcom. It's not even. I can't even define my own comic that way. But it's more like
comical adventure kind of thing.
But it's a little dark. Whereas, and a lot of these concerned parents at Comic Cons come to our store and say,
oh really?
Oh my, there's so much violence. My kids can't read this. So I'm like, this is not for your kids, this is for you. Gone are the days when comics were only for kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it's time we cater to the adults as well.
A couple of questions on that though. I mean, so one thing you said was, you've tried not to be political, but I feel like cartoonists and politics have gone hand in hand for years, for decades. Literally, their opinion is the one that everyone wants to hear, but no one wants to say.
Correct.
And I just, whether you take the Amul girl or you take, the common man, So, I mean, those have always been very, based in our reality and things like that. So, have you ever, considered kind of doing that, but in a much lighter way, like you said?
No, I have actually provided political cartoons to some websites during the Lok Sabha elections. Though my take on it is purely my own choice,
Of course,
the way people saw it was that, I'm extremely right-wing or left-wing or whichever wing that is. So, it's easy to typecast, I feel. And political cartoons today is a very risky...
in India, it's not even in India.
Anywhere.
In France,
Anywhere.
Right?
And I mean, it's not like a conscious choice I'm making, but I enjoy fiction more. I've read and grown up on comics, so it's my little thing to give it back to the kind of base I've consumed. And of course, Tinkle comics is something that
we'll get into that.
So 2004 is from when I've been with Tinkle. So there is the safe content which I work on, and then there is the exaggerated and completely R-rated comics that I work on for Angry Maushi. Fanboys is in the middle.
Nice.
It's safe for everyone to read.
That's cool. It's SFW.
Okay.
That's cool.
Well, let's just take a quick little break, and when we get back, we will talk more about Tinkle, and I have a couple of questions of my own.
Awesome.
Hey Dilnaz, have you tried sex toys?
No, I've not tried sex toys, but I've tried sex.
Sid, why are you asking me this weird question? Who talks about sex like that?
We do.
Really? We do.
We also talk about dating, condoms, and orgasms.
On our show X and Y, where we have a casual conversation about sex and relationships in India.
X and Y is available every week on Stitcher, YouTube, the IVM podcast app, or any other podcasting app you prefer.
So I guess we do talk about sex. Like that.
We are back. We never went anywhere. Surprise. All right. So, I have a question just about what you mentioned with Angry Maushi is that some people thought maybe it's a little too political or you have some undertones in there. But before we started recording, we were talking about for a brief second about how people don't necessarily review comics or music or a lot of the things that we do and the things that we love. They don't really review them so much as they just openly share them and just publicize the fact that they exist. So when it comes to something about like somebody, critiquing it for its political nature or lack thereof or too much of it, whatever it may be, where has that happened? Does it happen where people come up to you at a Comic-Con and start accusing you of stuff? Or do you get journalists that actually take the time to sit down and write that?
Journalists have actually been pretty nice about reviews for Angry Maushi. In fact, they have not gone on about saying that, this has a political undertone. It's more on the social media. I've got a few people asking me, are you of this opinion of this particular party, or are you of this opinion that this politician is like this? And my answer to them is, it's a joke at the end of the day. You take it the way you want it.
Right.
I'm not naming anyone. If they look like anyone, it's up to you to make references. So in a way, I've actually lampooned multiple people. So I can't even say I'm taking one side of it. But
I mean, in this country, it's an equal scene. No one is. It's like choosing between two evils.
We believe in equality. Remember?
We don't discriminate. We hate everyone. Equally.
Are you somebody that has a constant open running dialogue with the audience? Do you have a lot of interaction on social media and conversations that go on and continue?
Yes, in a way. Social media, yes, because I think Twitter is a place where it's not like Facebook. Facebook is like one post and you're like, people are just
dealing with that one
but
post.
But Twitter is where there can be a conversation, an argument, and trolls.
Sure.
Trolls.
But luckily, touchwood, I have not encountered such trolls till date.
Awesome.
So
that's because you're a troll.
I'm trolling people in my comics, maybe. So they, the social circles have this threat. Oh, look, he's a cartoonist, so he's going to make fun of you now.
Okay. Well,
maybe they're scared.
That's an expectation I think people have on you. Yeah, for
it's just
sure.
like saying, like you guys are into music, so I'm sure at some social circles back in school days, someone must have said, "Hey, gana gata hai. Let's sing a song for everyone."
That still happens.
That still happens.
Like, that auntie in the family also is like, "Arey beta,
gao." Every time.
Meri beti dance seekh rahi hai.
What is your 30-second elevator pitch when you go to family reunions and you meet aunties and uncles and it's like, oh, this is what you do? You're an artist?
Exactly. So earlier, I used to package it up in a very glossy package saying I do animations, I work for a corporate blah blah where we are doing a lot of social media blah blah blah, and then there is the sequential art, because sequential art certainly sounds a lot cooler.
And many syllables.
And with each syllable their jaw goes dropping 1 centimeter per second. So now I just keep it simple. I'm like, I'm an artist.
Nice.
And their jaw drops like in 1 second 2 feet.
It's brave. They're like, wow, he admitted it.
An artist. So there's always cringy expression like, artist? Like, are you the ones who kind of sit on the street and draw stuff? Do you paint walls? Do you paint hoardings? I'm like, even that is art.
Yeah, all of it is.
Yeah, and you can't judge art based on what.
And you actually the real artist. I mean, like Jishnu and I can also call ourselves artists. But
we all are actually.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like when it comes to the actual physical, drawing of things, so that's great. Yeah, I mean, like, you can actually say that with certainty.
But you know what? I don't relate a lot to any other artist. If I go to a Jahangir art gallery and the artist goes on explaining something to me, I still don't get it. So I'm not like this all encompassing.
Of course,
because at the end of the day,
branches
I'm a self-taught artist at the end of the day. So my earliest issues that I used to face when talking to clients, because I used to freelance in my college days itself, was like, do you have a JJ School of Art degree? And I used to be like, no, I'm self-taught. Then please leave. So this used to happen a lot earlier. That's when you kind of had to build a portfolio and the usual stuff that happens, that portfolio should be good enough, blah, blah, blah. But pitching-wise, I think I just keep it simple. I'm an artist. If they are ready to hear more, I say, and an animator. So then they're like, oh, okay, fine.
Moving pictures.
Do you animate Mickey Mouse?
I don't have the copyright, but if you give me one, I might
I don't think anyone has in many,
but to that end, so you are now educating the Indian youth of future artists.
Wow, you just made me like,
I'm giving you more stuff to do.
I know.
Now you can say, you're like a lecturer. You're an educator.
You're an educator, right?
Yeah, if you call it that, yeah.
So how's that been? I mean, like, that's that seems really cool to me. Like the fact that there is an established order in place where there are kids that can seek guidance and have a nurtured education from the people that have done it, and people like yourself who are really good at it and lauded for it.
Thank you.
There is a system in place for that, and they don't have to just like randomly search for you and hope to God that you give them your time of day.
Which used to happen about 15 years ago when we were in college, in school.
Right.
We had no idea whom to approach.
Right.
And of course, comics as a profession was, I mean, not that it's seen as a safe option today as well. Any of the performing arts, frankly, in India, we still have the same mindset.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not into engineering, medical, or banking,
Cricket or Bollywood?
yeah, of course. Then you made it into the big league. You technically are walking on thin ice. So earlier we never had guidance. We never used to understand where to go meet people. Now, because a certain set of colleges has a syllabus which covers things like these,
Right.
It gives me a chance. I'm a visiting faculty at all these places. I'm not a permanent faculty anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's much better. It's like a
I'm
bounty
assuming
hunter.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it gets me to connect with them better. So next time I'm planning a comic, I can actually keep in mind the kind of communication they might be into.
And it's also a way for you to kind of be in touch with the youth, as in like what they're thinking. So it kind of makes your art.
Yes.
I mean, I guess it makes writing stories much easier.
Absolutely.
So let's even take that youth a little further. So you're writing for Tinkle. You're doing this for a while now.
I'm drawing for them.
You're drawing for Tinkle. So I mean, dude, that's like I don't know what it is. I didn't grow up in India, so I was in Dubai. But when I used to come back and we used to go on trains, and go everywhere, I was like, I'll always pick up Tinkle. So I know Tinkle's great. Tinkle, I mean, like Uncle Pie, all that stuff. That's legendary stuff.
Yes.
And then you're part of it now. So that's really cool. So you're drawing some of the characters which have been like even established for such a long time. How is that? What's that like?
It's epic, man. I mean, it's my fanboy moment. The moment Actually, there's a little anecdote about this. I was in class 9, I guess, when... so I really wanted to go meet the Tinkle people.
Yeah.
I was in school, and so my parents have been very supportive about what I've been doing.
That's great.
Awesome.
So my mom actually booked an appointment with Mr. Pai.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was in class 9. I went and met him. I was speechless.
Man, he's a legend.
And
bless his soul.
he called in Savio Mascarenhas.
Dude,
he
awesome.
was drawing. He had started drawing for Tinkle around that time, and they had both saw my work and they said, "Okay, you're in school, but we'll give you a little story to work on, just cause it's not going to be like printed."
Amazing. Yeah.
So that was my first story I drew for Tinkle. I still have that letter that he sent me with that story. And then that was in 97 or so, 97, 98. I don't know when it was. Then 2004 was when I went back with a bigger portfolio.
Yeah.
And 2004 onwards till date, I mean, they like my work. Was till date I've been freelancing with Tinkle. I work on a few new series.
Yeah.
They have had a major revamp.
I've seen that. Dude, I've been seeing it on all the, it's like on billboards and bus stands and stuff like that. And I was just like, wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
along with these new ones, working on the old epic ones, the classic ones like Supandi. Shikari Shambhu. It's been like a full circle for me.
That's crazy, man.
Stuff you've grown up reading and you're drawing it now.
I can't even explain that. I mean, I don't know what it's like for you. Like for me to hear that is just like
it was
incredible.
so awesome. It was very awesome.
That's incredible, man. So what kind of like stories, like how does the process happen? Just out of curiosity, like they send you the panel breakdown and you just like...
So there's a writing team which writes...
And they're based in Bombay?
Yeah, very much.
Okay,
they are right here in Andheri East.
Right.
So there's a script writing team. The editorial takes care of the writing. Usually there is a specific writer to each character.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like how animation also works. Maybe like there's a lead animator, there's a people who understand the character.
Right.
And similarly we have fixed, more or less fixed artists for each character.
Okay.
So if I'm drawing the defective detectives,
yeah,
the stories will come to me.
Right.
But with the classic ones, because there's so much happening, they have branched out into a lot of advertisements as well. Tata Mutual Funds thing.
Exactly.
So those are actually sourced out to multiple artists, which is how I get to work on the classics.
That's awesome, man. I mean, like it's like working with Archie or something, which is something so like classic.
Yes.
And I guess their office must have been on they've been running as a company for since decades, man. My gosh.
Amar Chitra Katha dates back to 70s.
Yeah, wow. That's how I learned anything about Indian mythology.
I still talk about it in my classes. I'm like, compare a history textbook to
Yeah.
an Amar Chitra Katha.
Dude.
Where do you pick up your history better?
Yeah,
Right.
You know.
so true.
Definitely in the comics, because
Yeah, the comics, man.
makes learning so much more easier.
It's digestible.
Yeah. I used to reread that stuff like all the time. My gosh, it was
Absolutely.
so great. Oh, that's excellent, man.
So the stories come to the artist.
Mm-hmm.
We have to panel it. We have to plan the angles, the camera angle.
Nice.
We call it a camera
Yeah,
angle.
no, it is a camera angle,
You know, the way you would show the dramatic scenes, if there's a splash page, etc., etc. That's where the storyboard begins, and then finally the comic.
That's
takes
excellent,
place,
man.
takes shape.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wow, I'm sorry, I'm just like still like Tinkle, man. That's so good. Let's talk about like what your kind of. I mean, this is something we've spoken about with all the artists who come here, and that's Comic-Con. And in the last, I guess it's been about. I want to say it's been
2011 was the first.
5 years. Yeah, so 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
So, what has your experience been like pre-Comic-Con and post-Comic-Con for your work, and like because we've always had like at Geek Fruit, we're kind of like we're trying to be the positive force of like, you know, for comic books and arts and everything like that. But like we've always had a few criticisms for Comic-Con, and like just, you know, the I mean, the main one has been the balance between merchandise and comic books, and then international comic books versus Indian comic book creators. So where do you sit in on that? And I know, I mean, like it's been a big deal for a lot of comic book creators. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
We are thankful to the Comic Cons for making us those mini celebrities for those 3 days, 2 days, because that's when we kind of get a lot of attention.
Sure.
And then we are back into our caves. But I think the fact that they started the Comic Cons in India was to cater to the crowd which cannot travel outside, of course, and experience the Comic Con the way it is. And sure, I mean, about balance, etc., etc., they are encouraging more artists and creators to come out with more comics. And today, as compared to 2011, you have a lot more independent comics out on display at the Comic Cons. Having said that, the so-called imbalance between comics and merch is happening even in the biggest Comic Cons all around the world. Like San Diego, I've personally been to like 3. I've participated in Dubai twice.
Nice.
And one in Singapore. And I've seen a similar kind of a feel. I mean, there's no... maybe comics as a medium is quite niche as compared to a collector's audience.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe people are out there to collect stuff.
How strange that it
That's
is,
awesome,
you know?
because to be a collector is a lot more expensive.
Expensive,
It is.
exactly. And
Like-
comic books, you
like
can
200
buy them, yeah?
times
A lot.
Yeah.
People may think twice when they're spending like 200 on our comics, but they might go and buy the $3,000 Marvel
Right.
hardbound.
Kutu Bukia. Yeah.
Is that because it's a familiar thing? Like your comic is new and they might not have read Angry Maushi or Fanboys,
Maybe.
but they know who Iron Man is.
Maybe.
And so they'll spend $3,000 because they trust Iron Man.
Maybe, but in a way, it's helping the comic culture. I can't comment on what the creators and artists feel about this, because personally, I'm fine with the way my comics are moving.
Right.
But because we also do, like my wife and I, we run this thing called Kini Merch where we
Right.
have collectibles.
Correct.
So personally, from our end, we put in the stall what we would want to buy.
You have both. Nice.
So at the end of the day, I want to use it as a platform to, you know, display my artworks.
Right.
So if my art is reaching out to a lot more people, we'll be the happiest.
That's great.
And so
I guess,
then do you
yeah.
find the people that come by to your stalls, are they repeat customers for the most part, or are they a lot of people? Well, I guess the real question is how many people that come to your store are coming for the first time every time?
I think it's a 60-40 ratio.
Oh, that's
60 new,
Oh,
40
that's cool.
repeats.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I would have guessed the other way.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no.
amazing.
We used to feel that, you know, oh, now that people have bought this, I don't know if they'll come back and buy the same thing next year. But that happens because we get a lot of new people coming up.
Nice. That's great.
And of course, social media has helped a lot.
Right.
Everyone's a celebrity of their own, you know, in their own way on social media. You have a Instagram handle, and I don't even have that many followers. So, you know, spare a thought for people who, like me, who probably have 900 or 1,000, the people who are having like 20,000, 30,000 followers. Your perception, oh man, this guy he's doing this kind of work, so I need to buy his work.
Right.
Right.
That also, the aspirational value may also come in somewhere.
I guess, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, no, definitely. No, but
So social media wise, I'm yet to do a lot more. I mean, I'm not even there. Maybe I'm just being lazy about
I
it.
think that's everyone's problem here, right? It's like, we're all like, man, we spend so much time making the actual stuff.
Yeah.
That, you know, after that, it's just like, oh my God,
That's
no,
what
I
happens.
can't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I don't read my own comics once it's in print.
Okay, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So when I had a band in college, when we used to record our garage demos, I never used to listen to the songs again. I can't see my own work once it's
Really?
done.
Okay,
Yeah.
one of those, huh?
Yeah.
I can't.
I feel you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's fine. No, that's good. It's good, I guess. What is Abhijeet Kini working on right now?
Follow-ups to Fanboys. I
Okay,
say
yeah.
follow-ups because maybe this year we'll have multiple issues.
Okay, cool. Are you going to be at Pune Comic Con?
Yes.
Yes. So
Pune is next up. I mean,
Right.
next weekend.
And are you doing the sequel for
Not
this
at Pune.
Yeah, okay.
Not at Pune. We are debuting Fanboys in Pune now because Pune missed it
right.
last time.
Oh,
Correct.
And we have a collected Angry Maushi issue, which is
Trilogy,
Yeah, which
the
I have
compendium.
to-
What
the essential Angry Maushi.
How long did you take to think about that? Because I would have beat myself over the head. Do I call it the compendium, the collection, the saga, the epic?
The
No,
epic
no.
saga is finally
the epic
in
saga,
one volume.
yeah.
No, I did come up with a small line for explaining what it is because I won't want people to buy it as a new book and say, oh man, this is the same stuff which is...
Correct, yeah.
So I've written on that. It collects all the three as
Nice.
a trilogy. But Essential Angry Maushi is... these two comics we're going to launch there. And gradually this year we'll have multiple Fanboys issues.
This is good because that is where the Abhijeet Kini is a creative professional specializing in
Yeah, there you go.
merchandising part comes in.
There you go.
That's the merchandising part. Creative professional in merchandising.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. We're going to take another short break and we'll come back, talk some more with Abhijeet Kini.
Who's ahead in the league and what's cooking off the pitch? We at TFG bring all that you need to know about Indian football. Discussions, debate, banter, in-depth analysis with a touch of fun and fandom. This is the TFG Indian Football Podcast and we're a daily show. So check us out on YouTube and various other podcasting apps like iTunes, Audioboom, SoundCloud, etc.
We're back and we're talking with Abhijeet Kini.
Well, in case they didn't believe us.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just quick mention. I mean, this can go in. This is a rabbit hole pretty much. But just talking about the industry right now for comic book artists and people who want to get into the scene. And I know you're doing your bit, kind of going. You're lecturing at colleges, and while you're doing that, I feel like you have a special agenda also to kind of get people into this a little bit more. I mean, as simple as what do you think we can do to kind of make this industry a little more this subculture, because that's exactly what it is. Comedy has been doing really well in India as a subculture, which is now way more mainstream. There's about 5 nights a week of comedy that happen every day. Indie music is kind of getting there with N87, with Weekender, Normal, and things like that. So what do you think the nerd community or the nerd culture in India can do to kind of propagate itself, and what do you think we're missing infrastructure wise? What's happening?
I think infrastructure-wise, I really can't point things out because I may feel that certain things are not in place while certain things are. E-comics is something that is interesting to look at, wherein you don't need to print your comics, you can just publish them online.
A lot of people doing that?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've only seen one major publisher that we met at Comic-Con.
Oh, and then I also, there was another one which I just reviewed. So somebody who skipped the print thing altogether and just did this detective thing, this comic called Do Detectives. It's just on the web, purely, that's it.
A good friend of mine, Jazil Humawazir, does
Right.
Beast Legion. To me, he's the first name which comes to mind when it comes to e-comics. And everything.
Sure.
But personally for me, I've not ventured into that space yet.
Okay.
I'm not really sure how to go about it sometimes because I personally feel that a printed comic is
So
the
much
real
value.
feel.
Yeah, of course.
But I think more e-comics would help if most of us try to get into e-comics in the first place, which we aren't. Me, guilty. Also, I think the nerd community, I don't know what they can do. They are just, I'm glad they're at least getting something to...
Let me put it this way. When you put a comic out and you are, thinking of distributing or doing some PR or marketing or whatever it is, what do you feel like, man, I wish this, was not this way, or I wish that we had something, to do?
I think specific dedicated comic shops.
Oh, man.
That's something that has worked for the US markets for years. Again, that's not something that is surviving today.
Yeah,
because
it's a
Because
dying breed,
let alone bookstores, forget comic
comics,
bookstores.
yeah.
You don't even find bookstores.
Landmark, there used to be so many
I
landmarks.
know,
And there's none anymore, man.
Bookshops are shutting down, but
It's a shame, yeah.
websites beyond the main two that people shop from. Maybe if there's a specific comics only site which is again promoted well. See, there's a lot of money which comes into question once you come up with a wish list like this.
Right.
Who would want to take that risk?
Yeah.
Same thing with art house cinema or independent music, independent cinema. Either you crowdsource it,
Right.
or you just wait it out till you get a good, producer, good financer who can put in the money. Same thing with comics. It's very hard to come by people who would want to invest in the comics domain.
Well, that's because like the ROI on that, like the return,
very low.
Is I mean, like you're getting it from people buying physical copies, but now if you kind of even go into the whole e-comics thing, that's even less.
Yeah.
And then I guess then it comes back to the whole merch versus
because
kind of
that's where the money is eventually when it comes to licensing out your IP, etc. Like if you look at the bigwigs from abroad. I don't think the money they make is only from sale of hard copies.
Oh, no,
It's everything else which is...
I mean, like Marvel or DC, just take they're making the movies now.
Exactly.
Like, that's how they're doing it.
So even years ago, it was not just the comics that they survived on. They license it out. There's a lot of merchandise, a lot of collectibles.
Yeah, correct.
These things matter. So I think our mindset has to change in India, first of all.
Okay.
I always keep saying this in any workshop or session I'm taking is independent is one genre, no matter what media it is always something one needs to look out for because that's where the raw stuff is.
That's the good stuff is.
Yeah. It's not handled by any commercial hands.
It's unadulterated.
It's unadulterated. It's what the creator wanted the people to consume the way it is supposed to be.
Right.
But people need to be open for it. They need to encourage, they need to buy.
Right.
Yeah.
The more they buy, the more your content will be out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think mindset is the first thing. Beyond infrastructure is the mindset. People are now opening up to comics. I see that in Comic Cons. A lot of curious people come up and say, "Oh, how does this work? How do you work on a comic?" And it's always nice to talk to them about it.
Right.
So since the curiosity is there, the awareness is there, I just feel that it spreads a lot more so that people support the scene. The so-called cliched supporting the scene.
Yeah.
That is...
It's the community angle, right?
True.
It's the community
it's
angle.
true.
I think before infrastructure, the community angle has to come in first. Mindsets especially.
Do you have a wish list or ideas for how that could happen beyond just money?
I have it, dude. It's the Angry Maushi Fanboys connected universe.
Yeah, why not?
Have you been tempted by this? We talked to Aniruddha and Shamik about this quite a bit because Aniruddha he just incepted a joined universe between, I think it's Damned and Rika
and Aisha also, which he's doing.
The new one as well is also connected. Yeah,
not completely, but like it's in the same
right. So in
space.
Damned and Rika, I think it's literally just one page where something happens. I don't want to spoil
that's some intense.
There's one definitive
Nick Fury
boom. Yeah, it's a Nick Fury scene.
Yeah.
Have you been tempted?
No. I would want to keep this as two separate entities.
I could totally see them existing the same. Like I could totally see the fanboys meeting the Angry Maushi, and that would all hell literally would.
Hell already broke loose, so I guess we'll break a new one. I don't know.
Maushi has gone to hell as well. Now fanboys also have been.
Yeah.
So somehow love drawing hell and the devil. No, but I think the only common point between the two is we don't know their real names. J, K,
exactly.
and M, and this is Angry Maushi.
Yeah.
No one is named. They don't have names. That's the only common connect. One is colored, one is black and white.
Man, I would love to see a Fanboys colored.
Yeah.
You should do like a special dish. That would be
remastered.
Cool.
Yeah, in Technicolor.
Yeah. Maybe.
Because you have such a vivid kind of look at your characters and your art style. Quickly, just before I just want to talk a little bit about your own influences. So we have actually done this whole thing backwards. But
it's like Memento all over again.
Memento all over again is actually another thing. But yeah. So tell me a little bit about your art is very distinct. I mean, I can you can notice it even though you're drawing Tinkle. Like I can tell. I know it's Abhijeet who's doing that. So what were your influences kind of getting into this kind of pop really art kind of style?
So I think back home, like India specific, Tinkle has been a huge driving force when it comes to picking comics as a career. I remember artist names, stories from my third standard, fourth standard days.
Yeah.
When I started reading Tinkle, I think second or third standard I started reading Tinkle. I still have all my issues with me.
Nice.
And knowing the artist by name, I felt was something that kind of shows that a person is interested in the art, because you either remember the writer's name if you're into the writing or the artist. And I remembered all of them.
Yeah.
And so Tinkle, I think, was the earliest influence. Mad magazine.
Nice, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I started reading Mad when I was 8. So that was the earliest possible. None of my classmates knew about Mad magazine.
I struggled to get a copy of them.
Really?
I wanted to know how I could get them. It was just impossible.
available
I
here.
stumbled upon like 2 or 3.
All these
and it was
Raddiwalas, all
Yeah,
these
they would
old
have
paper
a-
marts, yeah.
Yeah.
And they had good mint condition stuff as well. And they didn't know what they were selling.
Yeah.
So you could get them in a good
Yeah.
bargain. So Mad, Asterix, Tintin,
Yeah.
DC Marvel happened a little later.
Yeah.
But I think these were the early few influences I definitely had on my
Nice.
choice. That's why the Mad black and white, which is how I love drawing black and white comics.
Okay. Also, it just like takes away.
Yeah, saves a lot on
It's
coloring,
like saves on
as-
print
costs.
Print costs.
Definitely,
Yeah,
it definitely does. I bargained with my printer. I was like, "What if we do this in color?" He's like, "So and so." What if we do this in black and white? Drastically less. I'm like, "Okay, I've made a creative call here."
Awesome. Okay, cool. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We'll just talk about some random news and then we'll tell you where to find Abhijeet's work.
Hey guys, this is Malika Singhania, co-founder of the blog Stylogram, where we cover trends, fashion forecasts, celebrity style, tips and tricks, and lots more cool stuff. So tune in every Thursday to the Stylogram podcast, your weekly style telegram, giving you the latest fashion and beauty stories that are relevant to you. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Audio Boom, or any of your favorite podcast apps. See you soon.
Cool, we're back. We're talking about some random news. Jishnu, go!
Suicide Squad director David Ayer has a new Netflix film called Bright, starring none other than Will Smith
Whoa.
and Joel Edgerton.
Wait, is that out?
It's
Or
a thing that will happen soon.
Oh, I see.
They just played the trailer for it during the Oscars. And Bright is set in a world where magical creatures live side by side with humans. A human cop, played by Will Smith, works in the police division for handling crimes involving magic and is forced to work with an orc.
That's
all.
great. I love it.
They're trying to find a powerful wand that the bad guys are willing to kill for.
So it's Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter
Yeah.
and R.I.P.D.
Oh my God, R.I.P.D. Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, David Ayer.
Here's the thing, though. I think
Back in
everyone
action.
who's involved with Suicide Squad thinks Suicide Squad was amazing.
Well, now they do because they won a friggin' Oscar.
They won an
so now
Oscar.
they're like they're creditable.
Sure,
credible.
no. But I will say this: the costume design was interesting. Like for
Sure.
it was.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
cool.
the work they did on Killer Croc and all that stuff was nice. It was well done.
No one remembers Slipknot.
Yeah, because they were literally like, this is Slipknot. He can climb over
You
everything.
mean that was Slipknot?
And literally, it was like, I don't know if you saw this video essay that came out about why Suicide Squad is a terrible movie. And this guy literally breaks down like things like, in the whole like precursor, like the whole beginning of the movie, the prologue or whatever it is, they keep showing Captain Boomerang stuff this purple dinosaur soft toy, this plush toy, kind of like in his bag. He's always carrying,
right.
he's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
carrying,
yeah.
putting in his coat, And then there's one scene. He's like, you would think that now what happens in this scene? And it's this scene where he gets stabbed in the chest by one of those weird monsters.
Okay.
Right.
And like he survives and he reaches into his coat. And the thing is, you'd think that that's a great setup for this thing where, he would pull out the dinosaur and that's what's it.
Yeah.
But it's like a wad of cash and he's like, oh, okay, cool. And that's it. So it's just like and there are like so many moments of that, which are just like setups for nothing. And it's just, oh my God. But I think
my biggest problem with it was the villain, the Enchantress doing the
the
breakdance.
dance, my God, it
that
was
was
so
so
weird.
uncalled for.
I'm glad you said who the villain was because I've completely
Yeah.
forgotten.
Yeah.
I could care less for that villain.
Which is why I love watching, Screen Junkies.
Yeah, I love Screen Junkies. It's so
everything
fun.
wrong with
Yeah.
the other ones.
Trailers also.
Honest trailers.
So good.
So they always, they are anti-DC anyway, I'm sure.
They seem to be. Yeah, this is true. The screenwriter.
But it's hilarious the way they've dissected Suicide Squad.
But you would be anti-DC if you make Suicide Squad.
Yeah, if you've seen that movie, you're not gonna.
Look, DC had a head start with the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, we could have spun off that, a little bit, I guess.
I think that's what they tried, and that's what went wrong with BVS is that they tried.
No, they had the Man of Steel film,
Right,
and they spun off that.
No,
universe,
it's an obvious sequel to that. But I mean, like they thought, oh, Nolan really hit it on the head with the brooding darkness, dark. Let's do that.
But they forgot the important was just like good story.
Yeah,
good story.
Have fun with it. It was also a fun movie. The Nolan movies were fun as all hell. They were dark,
fun.
but it was entertaining.
Yeah, very
BVS
entertaining.
was just sad and
But
like.
you
what is this?
can't really watch the Dark Knight in its full length today, I feel. Isn't it?
I can't watch it anymore. I've watched it a lot.
Yeah,
but
I think
you skip to the Joker scenes.
Yeah.
True, but that's also because, like he said, I've seen that movie now like
a million times. Did you watch? Did you watch the Lego Batman movie?
No, I missed
Dude,
that.
it's great.
I know.
Yeah, we just
Must
reviewed
watch.
it last week, and it's
great.
Yeah, it's good.
It rips all of
You
them
will-
like new ones.
Since these are your feelings on the Dark Knight, you will really appreciate Lego
Yeah.
Batman.
They kind of like destroy everyone.
They
don't-
knew that going. They knew that people were tired of the darkness and like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have some news. Fantastic Four 2 still alive.
Fantastic 42.
Fan four stick.
Yeah, fantastic. Did you watch it? Did you watch the
I
Fantastic?
skipped it.
Oh my god!
I haven't seen a single
watched it
Fantastic Four movie.
because
I saw the old ones for Jessica Alba.
Yeah, so the old ones are still there's still something in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Weirdly
You mean
enough.
Jessica Alba?
Well, yes, and I like Michael Chiklis. I think he's cool. Okay, he was great on season 2 of Gotham, a show that now no one watches anymore. But yeah, Fantastic Four 2 still alive. Simon Kinberg admits that there were problems, but still wants to make another Fantastic Four movie.
Cool.
So we were very interested in doing another Fantastic Four movie, I quote, and we love that cast. It's really about getting the tone right. Yeah, you think? And he says, he also confessed that the darker tone taken by the 2015 Josh Trank film didn't entirely work. Yeah, great. Well, the first step is admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Here's one. Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld would like a certain Oscar winner to play Cable in the sequel.
So I've heard about. They wanted. I mean, I saw a photograph of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I heard about Pierce Brosnan.
What?
Really?
Yeah, playing
After the
Cable.
Rajnikanta
Dude,
Pan Bahar.
How crazy was that? It was a full retcon because he said I had no idea what the product was.
Yeah.
I was like, why did you get into it then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah, no, he I think just the backlash was too much for
Yeah.
his PR team to handle, so
Yeah.
they just kind of went
And he got the money for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
he was trying to do a Hugh Jackman. The Hugh Jackman Micromax thing was cool.
I interpreted it as sort of Bill Murray's for relaxing times.
Yeah,
Satori?
Satori, yeah.
Satori times.
Yeah.
That's just all I saw.
My gosh, I love it when international these celebrities have no idea what they're getting into. It's great. It's great to see. Call this the anarchist in me.
Yeah.
But even with this whole La La Land kind of mess up happening. I love it when they think that everything can go according to plan. Just like we spend a lot of money and make it the most grandiose thing.
Yeah.
And even that can fail, with teleprompters and everything.
That's like a Looney Tunes episode.
I love it. I love it. I mean, more than anything, it just shows that everyone is human.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
There is no difference between that guy sitting right in front and us doing this
Because when you think
podcast.
about it, there is a stage manager and a giant crew of people who are like top tier professionals.
Exactly.
In theatrical design,
And
and
this
design
is
and whatnot.
the exact opposite of what could have. This is the worst thing that can happen.
Exactly. And
Yeah?
they spent probably an entire year from the minute that last year's Oscar was done, they're like planning for the next one.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
down to a T, sweating buckets every night, losing sleep. And one frigging idiot just reads one sentence wrong.
And his name
everything
is
goes
Warren
to crap.
Beatty.
Everything goes to crap.
Oh my gosh.
Can't trust anybody.
It's like the hotel restaurant review on Mumbai Mirror a few months ago.
Oh no, what was
Remember
that?
that?
What's that?
No.
They used the F-bomb in it.
What? Oh wait, yeah, I did see this.
It had
yeah,
gone
yeah.
viral.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy! I love it.
And there were a lot of F-bombs on it. Wow. So yeah, that was like the Fight Club happening in real life chaos.
Amazing. I love it. It's so good. And sorry, just to come back to who do we think should play Cable? Sorry. Do you have any picks? Are you a big Deadpool guy? I mean, I can see there's a
yeah, I've got a little
badge on your bag.
Badge on my bag. But Cable, I think we need some big guy to
You
play.
need a big guy,
Yeah,
right?
not Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Do you want a new face?
No.
You want a familiar
Yeah,
face? You want
familiar
somebody
one.
you trust?
A
Yeah,
familiar
because he's
face.
supposed to be he's an old guy. Yeah,
Sure. But
yeah.
I mean, he could be a new old guy. That's another thing. You don't see, other than Game of Thrones, you don't see too many new actors
that's not
breaking
true.
through.
Breaking through into Hollywood. But
Yeah,
these
that's
guys
what
like Liam Cunningham and the guy who plays the Onion Knight. And,
What?
yeah, the Onion.
Who's that?
Liam Cunningham. He plays Sir Davos.
Oh, Davos.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sir
I love
Davos,
it.
right?
Okay, he's amazing.
So he's a great actor in the UK, but he just on Game of Thrones he's kind of elevated now
Yeah, that's
to
what I mean.
this
Obviously, I'm talking about when I say
international
big
stage.
actors, I mean internationally.
International.
How about the guy in Stranger Things, the cop in Stranger Things?
Yeah, I love that guy.
He'd be great.
What's his name? Damn it,
He gave a speech at the
David Harbour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's our producer. Naveen, thank you. Yeah, so David Harbour would be cool. Yeah. But I think they're looking for someone to, you need somebody as wild as Like, you need
He's
like
got a playoff.
Dolph Lundgren is what they
Yeah.
said
Oh
they
yes,
wanted.
got
oh
a
yes, that'd be a
playoff,
good one.
That would be awesome.
Speaking of Dolph Lundgren,
Sorry.
who else is watching Celebrity Apprentice with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Only you, Jishnu.
Only me. Why do I feel like that? Because it's true. But hey, it's
Jishnu
great.
watches a lot of things that only Jishnu watches.
Yeah, that's true.
Jishnu's playlist.
Yeah, man. My playlist is Celebrity Apprentice, The Amazing Race, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
On that note, we're going to close this episode. Abhijeet, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me over, guys.
No, it's great. It's always great having somebody who's actually like in the real thing,
In the trenches.
In the trenches, yeah,
Thank
doing the good work. So, if you guys want to find Abhijeet's work, where can they find your work, Abhijeet?
You can look me up on the net, www.abhijeetkini.com. Half the website is a flash site, so
So don't check it on your iPad, Jishnu.
Like
That's
myself.
Yeah.
But you can follow me on social media. My Instagram account has a lot of artworks, plus food pictures, plus
nice.
travel pictures.
Nice.
So it's
That's
kind of like
perfect fodder for anyone on Instagram, yeah.
I'm kind of reaching out to a lot of people.
You need to just have a couple of cats in there, you're good.
Done. And Twitter, of course. So Instagram and Twitter is at Abhikini. That's what it sounds like. ABHIKINI.
Right.
That's where I am.
Sweet. And you can find all his your merch and your comics at Comic-Con this
I'll be there at the
4th and 5th
Yes.
of March at
Yes.
Pune, the Pune Comic-Con. So that would be cool to find you guys there.
Deccan College Grounds, Yerawada.
Nice.
Come say hi.
Amazing. Right next to the jail. Okay, cool, guys. If you guys want to find us, write to us, give us your thoughts on any of the comics that Abhijeet's written or any of the stuff that we've talked about on this episode, including the Oscars. Write to us, contact geekfruit@gmail.com. We're also on all social media, Geekfruit HQ, at Geekfruit HQ on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. And yeah, that's our show. We'll see you guys next week with some more stuff. May the force be with you.
Thanks, you nerds.
See you guys.
The Geek Fruit podcast is an IVM production, and if you enjoy listening to us, I suspect you will like listening to the Fan Garage, or TFG as we like to call them around here. It's a podcast about sports, and it comes out every day. They talk about football, cricket, and fantasy leagues, which is what it's called when you're not good enough to play the sport yourself. But hey, you can listen to a podcast about it.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcasts, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcast galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.